How you going, guys? Steve here from Australian Full Body Adventures, and we're doing a rig rundown of this awesome D23 Navara. Tommy Lincoln here from Snap Media. So if you don't know Tom and all his online escapades with his photography and everything else he does, definitely go give him a follow. It's by far worth the journey on that one. But anyway, Tommy, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Your D23,
Yep.
What year are we talking?
2019, so it was built actually on my birthday, and then got delivery of it in January 2020, so I've only had it about just over a year now.
Yep.
Came from a 1990 GQ Patrol, so you know, aircon and cruise control now.
Fair downgrade.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2019, 2.3 litre twin turbo.
Yep.
And that's all I really know about it.
Happy days. It definitely looks like you've got a fair few mods on there. Like,
Yeah.
You've done a fair bit of
I've gone to town, that's for sure.
That's cool. Alright, well, how about we start at the front of the car,
Yep.
and we'll start running through all the things and work our way back. So, front bar, this thing looks pretty unique overall. I don't think I've seen a bar like this on a Navara, like this exact sort of thing, especially with the twin light bars, everything else.
This is an off-road animal predator bar. It was a prototype. So just the standard, your standard sort of steel, you know,
it is
non-hoop bar.
Yeah, because a lot of these sort of
bumper replacement
ones are alloy, and they're not really
so it's kind of in between. It's not really, I mean, it's not really protection for animal strikes and stuff, but you know, I wanted something to look good too, so got in touch with them and
follows the lines nicely.
Yeah, well, the thing about off-road animal I like the most is, you know, all these simple little curves and stuff actually make the bar into a nice looking bar. So
yeah, and obviously
dash plates included in it, and
approach angle sort of improved.
Approach angle, yeah. You've got, you know, your recovery mounts rated directly to the chassis.
Part of the bar?
No, that's bolted to the chassis.
Additional to the bar. Yeah.
And then the bar connects to these plates.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah.
Obviously winch compatible.
Yep, winch is in there. Rumba 11XP. Actually had that in my old car, so still going strong. Still running. And then just got a little answer plug there, which just runs sort of things like compressor and stuff. I've got an ARB twin compressor at home. Never actually I bought it from the show in
They're a good compressor.
2019 is when I bought the compressor, and it's still 2 years later, it's still not in the car. So I just quick and easy, just hook that up in there. And,
The light bars, do they come with the bar?
Yeah, so they're an option you can get with the bar. So it's a set steady. I'm not sure on what it is, which work well. They're the option, the only option you can get with the bar. There may be other brands that suit, but when you buy the bar online, that's the option.
It's designed for a steady light bar.
So, and the hoop's optional. The hoop obviously is no real protection at all, but it's placed to mount stuff
just
like it's just 2 bolts and place to mount your aerial, so 6.6 UHF DB GME, and then you've got other options for light bars and whatnot. So
fantastic. Engine mods, just
nothing. I've kept it stock. I mean, from my old car, this feels like a Lamborghini to me. My old 10mm, you know, GQ. It wasn't really that much of a goer, but this car to me seems like, you know.
Is that for a warranty thing, or you just don't feel?
I just don't feel like I need it. I mean, I might go a tune in the future, but to be honest, like, it's a work car essentially. So I don't need power. It doesn't. When it comes to tracks, I'm not really the one that does tracks. I'm more camping and stuff like that. So I didn't really need it. The only thing I've done engine-wise is my snorkel, a Kraken snorkel, and that's about it.
I reckon you ran more tracks than you've driven.
Yeah, I do run a lot of tracks. As you can see by my boots, I do run a lot of tracks. So
you can see by mine, I don't.
Yeah, you sit in your car and I take photos of you.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
So grill sort of looks a bit different to
it's not standard. So for the amount of questions I get about it, it's literally just a Nissan badge from the old GQs from a wrecker, and then just chicken wire for Bunnings.
And then just the matte black paint.
Yeah, well, it's just what is it? The can't remember what it's called. Plastidip. So it's just Plastidip, black Plastidip, which, I mean, when I put that on, I didn't have the bar.
Yep.
And now looking at the difference between the blacks, I try to get the black around the car all the same, but
it does look nice. Like, definitely, when this thing rolls into camp or wherever we are,
it's got a bit of presence about it. It's got a bit of a stance on it. That's for sure.
Definitely draw some eyes towards it. That'd be good. Yeah. Cool. All right. How about we go around the side and we start talking about some sliders and tyres and stuff.
Cool.
Alright, so rims and tyres, obviously you've got some nice muddies on there, and fake or real beadlocks?
Fake beadlocks.
Fake beadlocks.
They're a, what are you testing? They're a 17-inch rim, POS 20 offset.
Yep.
I think they're a king rim. I can't remember. That was a while ago.
Yep.
With a 295 7017 razor.
Yep.
MT razor.
Yep. Maxxis razors.
Yep.
Good tie. Happy with them?
Yeah, really happy. They've done 50,000 now.
While we're here then, suspension.
Suspension is a Bilstein kit. Height, I have no idea anymore. It's with adjusting between bars and train
Slightly
canopy.
higher than standard.
Yeah, I think it's sitting about 3.
Yep.
So
is there any body lifts?
No body lift, no.
All suspension.
All suspension.
So new up control arms or the factory?
No, they're ATI upper control arms, so adjustable for the alignment. And yeah, sits about 3-inch. With the nubs, they do have quite a high presence to begin with from the bonnet, so it looks higher than it.
These things sit higher than my.
Yeah, so the bonnet, from the guard to the top of the bonnet, is quite higher than your average car, and that's why they have such a high sort of look about them. But it only really does sit about 3-inch.
Yeah. So that's a
33.2, I think. 33.2.
No, I thought it was 33.7.
I might be.
6 or something like that. No scrubbing issues or.
Nah. Oh,
do you need the lift to get that size tire?
I think you could probably fit it with a 2-inch.
Yep.
You will get scrubbed with a 2-inch. Yep. The only thing I've had to do is just cut that mud flap back a bit, and that's about it.
Heat going, just
I just save the soil straight through it. Yeah.
Love it. Awesome. All right, sliders. These are definitely not sliders I've seen before.
Yeah, these are not your standard slider on the market for sure. So they're an off-road animal slider. The prototypes again for the Navaras. It's a mix of alley and steel. So it's a steel mount. Yep. 3 steel mounts connected to the chassis with a wraparound lock connected to the chassis as well.
Yep.
And then aluminium sort of plate essentially inside, the aluminium slider itself that bolts to that, with then a steel plate over the top of it.
Oh yeah.
So that's steel.
Yeah, so the steel inside there.
Yeah. So the footstep, no, that's alley. So the footstep here is steel, and then inside where that rail is, that's alley. So 60-61 alley.
Okay. Yep.
When it comes to aluminium, that's up there with some of your strongest aluminium.
Yep.
I've put these through hell.
Yep.
Like absolutely smashed the hell out of them. Landed the whole car on this side, it's just chipped a bit of alley, actually cracked the rock. Haven't moved, haven't bent. So far these have been really
holding up to the task.
Yeah, and for me, the tube wasn't ideal just for getting, I don't have a roof rack on my back, on the top of my roof.
Yep.
But getting up onto the canopy and stuff for me was just really important, so I wanted something I could step onto.
It's actually got a bit of well, these are big boots, and I can get my big foot up there.
Yep, and something for for Sarah to also step up in, and just some sort of footstep. So I always found in my old car slipping off the tube a lot and hitting the shin and stuff like that. Something like this is really more what I wanted to go to. So
cool. Snorkel.
Snorkel's a Kraken Engineering snorkel, so that was also a prototype, which just runs to the factory airbox. So I haven't changed the airboxes or anything like that. I wanted to keep that stock.
Yep. Is this 7.5?
4-inch.
4-inch.
Yeah, 4-inch with a little Kraken in logo at the top.
Yep.
Pretty quiet for a twin turbo. I notice it, but it's not over the top loud that I need to keep the window up.
But when the window's down, you can't hear it.
Yeah, well, when the window's up, it's silent. So and that seems to go really well. I did notice as soon as boost wise, like as soon as putting the snorkel in, the thing just goes straight to max. It changes completely. Yeah, beautiful. You got your big Dumbo ears? Yes, they were kind of a necessity. With Canopy on the back, I can't see anything with the old mirrors. The old mirrors came about halfway out. Yep. So for those, it was just a no-brainer, go on those, and then also extend out too when I'm towing anything. And it takes a while getting used to the different mirror setup. You obviously got the 2 there, but
All right, so inside the cab.
Yep.
Anything in here? It looks relatively neat, and I wouldn't say tidy, but it looks.
No, it's not tidy. I eat breakfast on the way to work every morning, so there is the occasional banana or peanut butter sandwich around somewhere.
It's cool.
That was breakfast this morning. I've had but there's no bins to be able to go to, so.
It's a daily driver. You're going to use it. Everyone has a messy car. It doesn't matter.
So my GQ, I had shit everywhere. I had gauges and VB cans up there. I had a reverse camera there. I had this there, that there, and it was just cluttered and just wasn't fun to drive, especially going to work in the morning with all the lights in my face. So I've kept it quite simple. Obviously with the newer cars these days, Apple CarPlay and stuff. So everything just comes through my phone there. UHF, which connects to that one up there. That's just sitting here. I've also got another one on the back, which it's not in at the moment, but that sits there. Yep. With the other one sitting in the box.
So it'll be sort of mirror image, one on each.
Yeah, one on each side. So I have one scanning, one connected to where we're going with, and I can tell which one's talking, just based on which way it's going. Yep. got a scan gauge up there, which is for just battery,
EGT.
Oh, actually no EGTs because the nav doesn't have it.
Okay.
Battery, like alternator, load, engine load,
yep.
and I've also got boost on there as well, just
yep.
to see if, you know, anything spikes or whatever.
Yep.
Here I've got a throttle controller. This is the throttle grenade one at the moment, which I'm not a massive fan on. Just seems a real cheap sort of setup for me, but I do have the wind booster, which I've left at home, but that one I much prefer over the top.
Yep.
I find with the navs, the twin turbo does get quite laggy down low in terms of torque, so having that just seems to instantly change it. I mean, people say, oh, just, you know, floor it and stuff like that, but I would rather, you know, have control and, you know, whereas so the wind boost has got so many different settings, from drag to, you know, race and off-road, and, you know, all the different types of settings, which really works well for me.
Yeah.
So
Okay. What are you here for? Seriously, this is what happens when we try and film something.
No, it's
this knucklehead. Bloody hell. Right.
Come back to light the fire.
keep setting up, George.
Yeah, keep setting up, George. Alright, so up to the canopy part of Tommy's car here. So this thing for me is the biggest draw card to this entire car. It looks fantastic. It gives the car a real presence and sort of just that mean stance that it has. Absolutely love it. There's two parts to it, one being the canopy, one being the actual tray bed itself. Mr. Tommy here is going to explain the difference between the two as well.
So it's a Lethal Customs tray. The reason why I went with Lee was purely I love the look of them, the build quality. For me was really important.
So Lee's from Lethal Customs.
Lee from Lethal Customs, yep. So we sort of have our sort of IFS sort of group chat. You know, we go out with a couple of Hilux boys, about 10 of us all up. He's part of that group. And had a trip filming for IFS Australia one year. He rocked up, and as soon as he rocked up, I was like, yep, leaned inside his window. It's like, that's the tray I want.
Yeah. So he's basically done this section along here.
Yeah, and then
wheel arches
and the guards
and the headboard.
And headboard, yeah.
Yeah.
So his one in his tray was the first. His Hilux was the first one. This is the second one, and you know, I just love it. It's such a good looking tray. When the canopy's off, it's just, you know, real mean looking. Basic. It's a com style tray, so it doesn't have the boxes. I may add boxes in or something later, but for me, it's more of an add as I go sort of setup.
Yeah.
So,
but this is basically just a lift off canopy.
Yeah.
So you can just go back to
I can just go back flat tray. So usually when I go actually to do trucks, believe it or not, I do trucks. Not just taking photos, I do them. If it's sort of hard stuff, like going at Cobra and stuff, I will just take the canopy off and just drive just with the tray, just to save weight and stuff moving around. And it's just that.
If it's just a day trip.
Yeah, exactly. No. So HQ Link, like a full custom canopy company. I did sort of look at the big companies to start with. I had a 7-month wait for the car, so I had the chance to research and stuff like that. So, you know, I went to the big Boss Aluminium, Mitts Alloy, what are the other ones? You know, other Norwell, New South Wales, Queensland-based companies. But for what I wanted, obviously I had to match the headboard. Turns out a lot of the big companies don't do that. And if you do want to do that,
so they're custom built, isn't custom built?
It's not custom built.
No.
And when you do that, it costs a lot of money. So for me, I was just like, well, I'll try and find something in Melbourne. So I saw a HQ Link canopy on a car every day coming back from work on the Monash, and I was like, that looks alright. Message them Instagram, all of a sudden, you know, they started drawing up design. So for them, they literally will measure headboard, they'll measure everything, angles, degrees, and literally marry the canopy to suit.
And it definitely shows it's worked.
Well, I mean, there's no real variance at all between the tray and canopy. Like, it sits perfectly, bolts straight on, and so now HQ Link and Lethal Customs do a lot of work together.
So it actually helps to link them together a bit.
Well, that was the build. So Lee got his old man's canopy built by HQ Link, and mine built by HQ. So for Lee, he doesn't do canopies from Lethal Customs. It's purely just trays. So now he can outsource to Fused. I think Fused Fab is one of them, or Fused something like that, I can't remember, and HQ Link as well. So fully centrally locked, so it connects to the car, centrally locked.
All through keyless entry.
Yep, so I've got a couple ANS plugs back here for all that sort of stuff.
There's two sides to the canopy, isn't there? So
there's two sides, yep.
Work side in the sense that this is all
my tools.
Basically the open section of it.
Some of my tools,
Tools, and the other side is basically the kitchen and sort of the functional part of it. So have a quick look at this side.
Yep. So it's pretty much just, you know, your T sort of standard lock. It's a 3-pin system.
Yep.
So I've got lock here that goes down into the canopy, and then lock and lock either side, all centrally locked. It's a bit of dust from previous trips and stuff, which does need to get It's fully sealed. It's got double seals, so when it comes to water and dust and stuff, not much gets in. Yep. Obviously, being at work and stuff, cutting stuff, dust does get in here, so that's a bit annoying for. But I've insulated it with just some foil board from work. Just painted it black, and this is pretty much
And then obviously for bigger trips, all this would come out, and basically
so if me and Sarah go away for say a week or 2 weeks, I usually just fill this case up with power tools or whatever I think I need, and then everything else is storage for mountain bike stuff or clothes bags, food, water, whatever.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Happy days. It's a pretty big area.
It is. I mean, it's
1700.
1600 canopy. 1700 tray.
Okay. Yep.
I think. I'm fairly certain. But in terms of weight wise, the whole canopy fully, so without any tools and the box on top, if it's just there, and the kitchen on the side, it's about 160 kilo, 170 kilos.
It's not bad at all.
When it comes to a full size canopy, with a roof rack on top, that's pretty light. So, and a steel tray for me was obviously an idea.
Especially with the extra rail on the side, partly for protection of the guards, for running the trees,
it helps with the canopy as well.
And for tying down,
but when it comes to weight setup, the tray and canopy, I don't know how much it's actually added itself. But when it comes to sort of, you think about, you have a rear bar and a tub set up, you have your tub, you have big heavy jaws, it comes in, still relatively light. All up, this car sits about 2.8 fully loaded. That's 2.8 with most of my tools and sort of a week-long trip away.
What's the GVM?
Oh, 2990.
So
3 ton.
Still under GVM.
Yeah, I'll never get there. I don't think. I mean, my daily setup, so with work and stuff, is about 2.7. And if I chuck in heaps of water, bags, 5 passengers, I'm struggling to sort of. Well, I might be close to it, but I don't think I'll ever really pass it for what I need. So
cool. As long as I don't get in the car.
Yeah.
Alright, let's head around the back. So decided to go with the tyre mounted to the back of the canopy?
Yeah, so the nav spare, obviously being a Ute, is underneath. 33 does fit, but not quite.
You've got to let the air down and then...
let it down, ratchet strap it up, and
I've seen a couple other...
But for me, the amount of space that's underneath the tray, it allows me to have water tank, air compressor, so I've got air compressor at home, tanks at home ready to go in, just got to put it in.
On the to-do list.
There's a lot on the to-do list. Water tank underneath as well. So for me, I wanted to use and maximise as much space as I could. And then just, spare on the back. It's all internally braced, the canopy, over braced, so I can handle quite a few 100 kilos on the roof. That's obviously been braced to suit spare wheel on the back.
Alright, so this is the part that I've been looking forward to going through, because there is so much stuff inside this canopy. I don't know how we're going to get through it all. This is going to be pretty cool. Alright, so this is the main kitchen side of the canopy. I'm going to open it because it's just freaking cool. If I can ever figure out which way to do it. Oh my god, look at that. Even just the matte black. Like it. Alright, Mr. Tom, run us through it. So obviously, upright fridge.
Yeah, so Bushman 80 or 85 litre fridge, I'm not sure, 80 or 85.
Yep. Bushman's.
Yep. So that's got your freezer in there and your fridge as well. Take one of those if you want.
I'll be cracking a few more of them, mate.
A lot of people ask about, the chest fridge compared to the upright fridge. And for me, I had a Waco, I've still got a Waco 75 at home, or Jules Zone 70 or whatever. I had a 35 litre Waco chest as well.
Well, that's interesting for me, because I've got the conventional sort of camping fridge, so you access it from the top.
Old school, it's not conventional anymore. It's turning to upright.
There you go. and I've thought about these, and I've tried to come up with the idea of how they're better. So why is this better than that? Especially considering size differences, because you can't really get sort of an 80 litre fridge in an upright to fit inside a canopy like this.
And that was the main reason. So the whole canopy was built around that fridge. For me, the chest style fridge would go, I think it was 30% into the other side of the canopy. And then also to come out needed work or something to work out there. Price, a drop down slide is about the price of a fridge.
These are pretty cheap, aren't they?
800, I think. Maybe
I
can't remember how much
sort of fridge is sort of probably $1,000.
But when it comes to space and filling it up, me and Sarah find this much more efficient. Drinks wise, obviously chest fridge, kind of chucked in there. We usually try and keep the drinks in the door, and then whatever else we just sort of replace as we go from the pantry or something like that.
Yep.
But when it comes to space and for food and stuff, we find that this fridge so much more sort of spacious and and it's easily accessible. You know?
That's the fridge argument then. So you're saying it's easier to pack and it's just sort of
I find it easier to pack. Obviously with the Ute setup too, it's in this style of Ute. I think it's a lot more suited. Yep. Not as efficient though. That's the main thing.
They use more power.
When you open the door, a lot of the air goes out.
Yeah.
And that's when it becomes less
cold air goes down.
And that's when it becomes less efficient. But I mean, you know, good battery setup and it doesn't matter. So
the kitchen table setup, I'm guessing.
Yeah. So all of this is built into the Canopy from HQ. So this is all custom to the point where, you know, I can choose how high I want the drawer, how wide I want it, and how I want it set up. So. That was another reason why I went with them, is I can choose literally my kitchen setup. Like it's not just, you know, a king's drawer set themselves another king's drawer. And it's all built in house. You know, there's a guy that does drawers, there's a guy that does doors, you know, guys do this. So so it's got 2 drawers. So a lot of the time this is sort of just my strap storage.
Deeper than I thought they were.
Yeah, they come right out. This is sort of my strap storage, camp stuff, you know, butane, what else have we got?
Random fuse blocks.
Fuse blocks. I mean, it's messy at the moment. I just sort of chuck stuff in, or oil and stuff, but I don't really dive into this drawer too much. It's just sort of, if there's something at work that I need, it's usually in here. It's like my man drawer, you know. Then pantry. So this is just pretty much...
That one's even bigger.
So this is just got all my saucepans, pots and pans, graters. Just your cooking stuff essentially.
All the cooking stuff that you're going to be using.
So we usually keep this. That's Sarah's.
Yours or
that's not mine. I'm not a wine drinker.
I don't mind.
So this is sort of our basic pantry setup. We can fit all our food usually in here. If not, it'll be just in a box on the other side. I wanted this shelf space to house my camera stuff, so I've got a camera box I usually put up here to house all that, allow stuff to charge and all that sort of stuff too. To continue the kitchen, then I've got a table which comes out again. So this is a setup that's just changing soon.
This is going to be an evolution.
Well, it was a system that, you know, I first had, and I thought, well, I can maybe do this a bit differently. So the boys at HQ again were just like, yep, cool, we'll change that and we can do that for you. So this is just a table that slides out. And that can also slide out regardless of independently of the drawer. So this is handy for when you're at camp and stuff. You can cook or just quickly make a meal, or if I'm at work or I need to fix something on the side of the road, whatever. So we usually, as soon as we start cooking, pull the pantry out. That then is open. Grab stuff.
And that's still underneath your awning too.
Unfortunately, when the new setup comes, it's not going to be.
It's a bit bigger.
But this does extend again. So this is my add-on. So build quality is not as good as HQing.
Alright, so this is a U issue. U thing.
So underneath, I've just got 2 little locks there. That extends out.
Hello.
And this little pole that I found at home, and that just sticks up in there.
So you get extra bench space.
And that was just pretty much an add-on. I thought, how can I add more space? So this is usually my kitchen setup. The new setup, it does.
That's not bad though.
No. So really, this can handle. I think we tested it 20 kilos. Fully extended. And strength-wise, it's fine. Not like I'm going to be putting 20 kilos on here, but
nah. The most you can have is like a cooktop and
the amount that George cooks, I might be putting 20 kilos in here.
Bloody George.
So this is a setup which I've had and sort of thought about how I can do it differently. But so now it's going to be same table here, another table slide out of there, and then a flip out at that side, and then we'll have an induction built in to this table.
Permanently inside.
It'll be recessed in, so it'll have to be a new drawer setup. Obviously, that's just water coming off the can. Have to have a new drawer set up to suit it, but it'll have like a cover over it and stuff, so I can still use it as bench space if I want.
Alright, so the big one, this one everyone's going to want to know about, the whole 12 volt setup we've got in here. And I know it's pretty cool, 'cause I've seen it. Obviously running the Energive gear for some of it, lithium battery,
Yep.
and the whole display.
Yep.
So just maybe start with the battery type.
So the 12-volt system was put in by Ryan at Central Auto. So he supplied Energive, DC charger, 2000 watt inverter, submarine system, put it all in for me. It was more for ease. I wanted it for ease and sort of, you know, save wires going wherever. Look, you know, I wanted to keep them nice and simple, nice and neat.
Yep.
Yeah. So the whole 12-volt system is behind the fridge,
yep.
and it's all on auto fuses, auto relays. Sorry. So none of it needs to be accessible.
Yep.
Yet I can still access it from the other side.
Yep.
So I can still obviously open it all and have it all there. But I didn't want, you know, fuses being seen. I wanted literally just nice and easy, nice and simple. So yeah, 2000 watt Energive inverter. That runs everything. You know, I can run my coffee machine off that. Power tools at work, I run, you know, my power saw and battery chargers, whatever. That does everything. Travel Buddy, which is just a new accessory I just chucked in there. That's just for, you know, heating pies, sausage rolls, whatever at work. Yeah. When it comes to this is stuff that's a bit rare in the full drive scene, I think, at the moment. I first saw it on the PVS 79 yep. in 2019.
Yeah, Jamie's
yeah, so they had it on the headboard of their thing. Yeah. As soon as I saw it, I was like, that's what I want. I absolutely loved it. Yep. Flush mount, and it just looks neat and tidy. So that pretty much runs everything. So it's saying at the moment I've got 94% of the battery. I can go, you know, open that up, and it will literally show all the data I need to see how the batteries are handling. So it's 120 amp hour iTech World battery, yep. lithium battery.
You happy with the iTech?
Yeah, I mean, for the moment, I mean, the only really biggest draw I need is maybe a power saw at work, and that's been proven. Or even the coffee machine is 1300 watts, and that seems to run it all right. Like, it obviously is up there in terms of how much 120 amp hours can hold, but at the moment I haven't had an issue with it. So yeah, so I
think they've still got a discharge rate of like 150 amps or something though.
Yeah, they have a max. They can max out at 150, I think.
Yeah.
Or I can't remember how.
It's up there. I remember because I think it's higher than what the actual amp hour of the battery. So
yeah.
You can drain the battery in like 45 minutes.
Yeah. So if I'm running something big through the inverter, it does have a peak of like 150 amps for an hour, half an hour or something. I can't remember how long it is.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to be using something that's that much anyway.
No.
The thing with the inverter is it's a AC and DC.
Yep.
So if I say go to a caravan park, I can plug in directly to mains, flick the switch, and now I'm charging off 240.
Yep.
And then I just flick that back over. Now it's producing 240.
I am keen to get one of them actually.
Yeah. Well, when I first got it, I didn't realise that was what I thought that was on, and that was off.
Yeah.
And then I was like, AC in. What does that mean? And that was the 240 going in. Yep, so. Yep. I very rarely need that, especially with a 180 watt solar panel on the roof,
yep.
Or 200 watt solar panel on the roof.
Where does the lead for that plug into it?
All in the DC charger at the back there.
Yep.
So originally I wanted this all gone and hidden, but in terms of space, I just didn't have the space. Yeah. So on the screen it shows me, you know, battery percentage left, so I've got 94% there, which is probably the lowest it usually gets to. Showing that it's got 1 day of discharge. That's because the fridge is on at the moment, so it shows me how much battery is being used. That's the yellow is discharge, blue is charge. So battery being used at the moment, obviously saying there 3 amps. Shows me my amp hours left, my temperature of the fridge with the thermometer in there, the amount of amps being used, and the amount of voltage being left. You know, so if I chuck in my oven there, flick this bad boy on, you know, straight away it's showing me that, you know, it's using 6 amps, and I've set that to obviously the rate of the fuse, so on that scale there it's showing 6 out of 10 amps is being used, and that's how that works. So it's a bit overkill for what it is, but for me, you know, I love that sort of technical, you know, look about it all. And yeah,
I didn't realise that showed you your fridge temps and
everything. So the Pico system comes with all these different add-ons.
Yep.
So you can have a water tank, and you can get
water levels.
You can get what's it called, ultrasound or something like that, magnets, things that stick on the side of it. Yep. You just calibrate it, and it'll show you how much water's in your tank.
That's pretty cool.
So there's fuel, water. It shows you air temperature, air level. Yep. I think there's a barometer in here or something. Fridge temp, barometer, barograph, whatever that is. I'm not sure. it's there.
Isn't that to do with air pressure and stuff?
I think it shows 965.1 M bar, whatever that is. So there's a whole different range of different things you can add on to this system.
Yep.
So when it came to that, the Red Arc, you know, it does similar stuff, but once you get it, that's it.
Yeah, right. Yep.
So, you know, things like water tank, I'll buy the sensor, plug that in. Now I can see how much liters of water I've got left.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. And there's lighting.
Yeah. So all in this through the switch panel. It's a Thunder Auto switch panel, and that so far is running all my lights. I'm the sort of person which sort of adds stuff as I go. So I've only really just sort of started using the lighting more because now I'm using it more. Now we're allowed to go camping. So my cabin lights, I've just got some of the Supernova rock lights, which are bright for what they are, but I didn't want this space to be super bright. This connects to your phone. You can dim them, change colour, all on a colour wheel.
Disco lights.
I'm not about that. I won't be doing that. More for bugs and stuff. I can just quickly change to orange. You know, that sort of stuff. I don't need to have a separate light just to do that. So I've got 3 facing down, 2 facing out, which is more than enough, and then 1 just in here that just shoots into the oven there. On the back, I've got those exterior lights. They're just some red. What are they? Road Vision or whatever that Road Vision lights from Autobahn. And they just swivel around. They're my work lights usually at work. Yeah, it's bright. And then, you know, as you're going, you know, this is now showing me 4 amps is being used, and that's, I know how much is being used. So,
George, just give us 5 minutes. What? Just give us 5 minutes. Yeah. Alright, so that's a really quick question and answer that I know a couple of you guys are going to be asking anyway, so I just figured I'd ask them on camera. Hopefully we can answer everything that you guys are already thinking. If there's anything more, drop them in the comments down below. Hopefully we can answer them all. Tommy will be
I'll be looking in the comments, don't worry.
Yeah, he'll be going through the comments and answering everything from there. Obviously, while we're at it as well, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, even if it's not a question. Just say if you like the video or not, say if I'm a really bad presenter, or, you know, just do whatever you want, I don't care. Don't forget to hit that little bell as well, that way you get notifications for videos coming in the past, and check out some of the older videos at the same time. But, questions. First off, which I know a lot of people are going to want to know, is why a Navara as opposed to any other, like why not a Ranger, of all the dual cabs, why not a Ranger or a Colorado?
Well, when I bought it, they were still going. So I bought this in mid 2019. That's when I made the deposit on it. I was looking for maybe 3-4 months. You know, did the D-Max, did the Ranger, did the Hilux. I think I did an Amarok, Colorado. So I drove all of them because I wanted something that, you know, would last me 5-6 years. At the time and on that year, Nav was the cheapest. For me, it was, I think, 35 grand for the base model, which comes with Apple CarPlay, comes with diff lock, coil in the rear. Twin turbo, which fuel economy really good. I wouldn't say the twin turbo was a selling point of it, but in terms of fuel economy, like
it was a sweetener. Yeah,
like here today, I was 8 litres per 100. You know, and that's going up to a Black Spur, down, and
so I'm lucky to get that downhill.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that was a big selling point for me, especially the amount of Ks I do. Like I've done 50,000 Ks now, just over a year on this thing, so I drive it a lot. So for me, fuel economy was definitely a big thing.
So question number 2 would be, why a canopy like this as opposed to a tub setup? Or not even like a wagon?
So I had a wagon, had a GQ Patrol. I don't mind the wagon setup, but I found it just wasn't practical enough for my liking. Just with sort of drawers and a fridge on top, you know, and obviously work, it just didn't work. I was running with my drop saw on the roof because I couldn't fit it in the car. So it was just those smaller things which add up. Like, you know, I wanted a 50-50, but when you have a wagon, it's either got to be one thing or the other. You can't really set up for work and play unless you get a trailer. All
right, question number 3 is future mods you have for the car and mods that you regret doing so far. Like, what wouldn't you do again if you'd done it again?
Future mods, I mean, I'm sort of a mod as I go. So in terms of things that actually been planned is the airbag replacement, coil replacement airbags in the rear.
Complete coil replacement?
Complete coil replacement, yeah, so just be on air. Which should be maybe a couple of weeks until that's done.
This one's probably going to be specifically for the Navara owners. What are the common issues with the Navara that people need to look at? Say someone's looking to buy one. What do they need to look out for? Like, say your top 5, if you got them, top 3, top 5. Big issues that arise with them, you just go, right, if you're buying a Navara, watch out for this.
So the main 2 would be rear main seal and turbo hot pipe leak.
Yep.
So I've had 2 hot pipes already.
Yep.
It's nothing major, like it's not going to impact the car too much. It's literally just a bit of oil leaking on top of the turbo.
Yep.
The other one, the rear main, is one that still has been fixed after, I think, what, 7 years of when the Navara first started coming out, and that's literally just dripping.
Commonly fail.
It's a common failure. And people say if you have a catch can, well, Nissan now saying if you have a catch can, they void warranty on oil leaks. So, I mean, I haven't got a catch can in mine, not for that reason, but I just haven't. Like, I mean, I would put a catch can in. I just literally just.
That's a bugbear of mine, because I think that's a bunch of crap from manufacturers.
Yeah,
but
yeah, exactly. But I've just never got around to actually putting it in it or buying one or just researching. I mean, it does its job.
If it's covered under warranty, probably best waiting until afterwards. Anyway.
Exactly. And the one thing, if I have, you know, a leak like that, rear main leak, straight away just goes to, well, you have a catch can. So
and fix it.
I'll probably just do a EGR clean or whatever, the intake clean or whatever you can do, and just get that done. Keep running. I won't have this car for. Probably have it for another 2, maybe 2 years, 3 years, depending on what's going on, but I wouldn't have it for more than 5. I'd like to just keep going, keep evolving into new cars. So chassis is another big one that Navs get a lot of scrutiny for in terms of bending chassis.
Yep. Especially when you start adding big canopies with big weight.
Yeah, exactly.
Behind the axle, they
a lot of it comes down to
common dual cab issue.
That's what I was going to say. A lot of it just comes down to just general dual cab and poor like loading, essentially.
Yep.
My train canopy is set up to be light, you know, and people may look at it like that's bloody heavy. It's not that heavy. Like I'll be lighter than most of your tub canopy setup cars.
Yeah.
But it's when people then start chucking a trailer on the back, start, you know, hitting up the Cape on a corrugated road for whatever, how long.
Pressure on it.
You know, you got your camper trailer on the back, fully loaded, 5 people in the car. Well, of course you're going to bend a chassis. Like, it doesn't matter what car it is, it'll still bend. So.
Right, well, that's about it for the walkthrough, guys. I reckon that is probably one of Australia's one of the best setup D23s
still
around. That's still running.
Still, yeah.
Obviously, there's going to be comparable ones to everything else. It's just my opinion of ones that I've seen. Of course, there's going to be better. There's going to be worse. Just
it's evolving everywhere.
Don't chew me apart for that one. Obviously, your media platforms are
Snap Media is my business. Tom Lincoln MP is the person page for this car. So yeah, you can chuck me a follow on there. If you want to shoot or anything related to any type of photography needs, just send me a message on Snap Media and or go onto my website and I'll get back to you. Yep.
So half the photos that are on my social media stuff, all the good photos anyway, Tommy's done for me, and actually Pat, who's behind the lens there, has done a couple for me as well. Definitely the guys to hit up. It's a small fee for them to come out with for the entire day, take a whole bunch of photos of your car. So if you're a social media person, or you just want some good content of your car, just because
frame it on a wall,
want it.
prints, whatever.
Yeah. Wives who might be watching this, is a great little present.
I've had a few birthday requests, like to put on top of cakes and stuff.
There you go. Yeah, see, it's awesome. Anyway, so thank you very much for watching, guys.
Stuffed it up. Good job. Just sitting on his chair.
All right, everyone just stay where we are. Thank you very much for watching, guys. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Don't forget that little bell on the corner there so you get notifications. And I'll see you next week.